Listen to this. Wall Street Journal says that homeowners cashed out $152.7 billion in home equity just last year. That's a 42% increase from 2019. Black Knight Corporation says we had a record-breaking of $4.3 trillion in mortgages in 2020, with $2.8 trillion in refinances. Now, I want you to keep in mind a standard rule of thumb as we continue with this video. For every 1% interest rates go up, about 10% plus or minus the housing prices go down. For example, a house that's worth $400,000 today, if interest rates were to go up 1%, that house will lose about $40,000 in value. That is a lot of money. Now, what I'm talking about in this video is why you should not do a cash out refinance and how dangerous it could be. And as always, if you get any value from this video, please don't forget to hit that like button so the YouTube algorithm can pump it out to other people like you. Let's get right into it. Now, I'm gonna give you guys an example based on a cash out refinance off of the rule of thumb that I shared with you in the beginning, that for every 1% interest rates go up, 10% in the housing market prices go down. Let's say today your house is worth $400,000 and you put 5% down, which is $20,000. This means that you have a mortgage, a debt of $380,000. Now, in today's market, your house is worth $440,000 because, as you all know, interest rates are at all-time lows. And in fact, Realtor.com says that the median house price average went up by 15.4%. just in the last year. But we're gonna stick with the 10% just so it's easier for numbers. So now, if you had $20,000 in equity and now your house price went up by $40,000, this means that you now have $60,000 in home equity. Now, you woke up one day and you're like, man, I got a lot of equity in this house. Let me pull out $40,000 in equity just cuz. But you also decided that you're gonna keep 5% in the house, which is $22,000 based on a house price of $440,000. But for the ease of numbers, we're gonna say that 5% is $20,000 that you're keeping in the house. So now, instead of you having a debt of $380,000, your new debt after pulling the $40,000 in equity is gonna be $420,000. That doesn't sound so bad, right? Only $40,000 more in debt? That's not bad. It's over a 30-year term. Who cares? Wrong. What happens when interest rates go up even by 1%? Your house price now drops to $396,000. This is because your house being worth $440,000, interest rates going up 1% means your house price will dip 10%, makes it $44,000 in price reduction from where it was. So now your house is worth $396,000. But don't forget, you pulled out $40,000 in home equity. So now you got a debt of $420,000, but your house is worth only $396,000. Now you're underwater. Now you owe the bank more than what your house is worth. Now, if things get bad for you income-wise, lifestyle-wise, you're not in a good position. This is the exact concern that we're having for millions of Americans who are seeing their house prices shoot up and taking out cash out refinances, not thinking it in detail, just like this. For years, it's been if interest rates go up by every 1%, the house prices dip by about 10%. So this isn't something that's just recent. It's been like that for decades. And this is a general rule of thumb that will always help you predict where the market is going. As you guys saw just recently, a couple weeks ago, we had interest rates start going up and the market started to panic, and they didn't go up by 1%. They went up by 0.3, 0.4, 0.5%, yet the market still reacted crazy. Now, Wall Street Journal speaks about a guy known as Mr. Kennedy, and listen to this. Mr. Kennedy did a cash out refinance for $30,000 to do foundation work and new flooring in his house. Now, you can argue that it's essential. He needed to fix that foundation because if it broke the piping underneath, he's gonna have some bad plumbing work. You can debate it's essential. He needs to fix the flooring because it was maybe real bad. We're not here to debate that though. Listen to this. Mr. Kennedy said that he started to consider doing a cash out refinance after his mortgage company, Mr. Cooper, called him saying that we have an offer for you. Now, this is where it gets sketchy. You have mortgage companies calling homeowners with equity, motivating them to pull out their equity. Now, Mr. Cooper told Mr. Kennedy, hey, you have equity in the house. We can help you take out that equity, get some cash, and on top of that, we can lower your rate. And Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Bill, Mr. Jimmy, Mr. whoever you want to say, when they hear that, they're going to get pretty excited and they're more than likely going to take it up. That's where things get dangerous, when Mr. Cooper, the mortgage company, doesn't explain to Mr. Kennedy that if the market goes the opposite way, you're going to be underwater and we're going to be the ones who foreclose on you. Now, here's another example with Wall Street Journal, and this one's with Mrs. Camello. She did a cash out refinance so she can pay off some debts, such as her credit card debts. She got an FHA assistance program for her down payment debts and some other stuff. Now, the cash out refinance was to pay off those debts, but she also said, I got a 1950s kitchen and it's kind of outdated. So what I'm gonna do is fix it up and add more cabinet space for her growing collection in kitchen gadgets. Now, I don't know about you, but Wall Street Journal is literally quoting what she said. She's taken out equity from her house to add more cabinet space for her growing collection in her kitchen. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that doesn't sound too smart or safe at all. And on top of that, when she got a cash out refinance, the goal is to not only take cash out, but to get a lower interest rate. She didn't even get that. Her credit score is in the 600s. She had a 4% interest rate. She got it now to 4.3%. So she's now paying a premium more, which raised her monthly mortgage payment by $50. So all of this is just crazy. But I'm going to let you guys make the assumption on what you think is important, or if that's validated, or if that should have been even done in the first place. Now, in 2008, cash out refinances were being done nonstop. 2006, 2007, up until the financial crisis hit. So cash out refinances don't really have a good look on them. So when everybody's seeing what's happening in today's market, they're kind of getting scared. What everybody was doing in 06, 07, 08 is the house prices were so high and they were taking out so much equity from these homes, only realizing months later or weeks later or even a day later, the entire economy collapses. Home prices literally crashed, making millions of homeowners not really homeowners anymore because their house was underwater. They owed way more than what it was actually worth. Now, before the financial crisis in 08 hit, there was 90% of people who pulled out refinances also took out cash while doing so. In 2020, 1/3 of homeowners that are doing refinances are actually taking out cash as well. Now, this number's a lot safer than 08, but it's still a hefty number. 33% are doing cash outs. That's a big portion of this market. And if prices decide to come back 10%, 20%, 30%, there is millions that are going to be in trouble. Lenders turned out more mortgages than ever in 2020. It was fueled by about $2.8 trillion in refinances, according to Black Knight Corporation. Some homeowners took out refinances and others took out cash out refinances, not just to look at, but they wanted to upgrade their home. They wanted to do some renovations. They wanted to use that cash. Now, I don't know about you, but using your equity to update your home in a market this uncertain, that's not that safe. Now, others who did cash out refinances, they took it out to have some cash as a cushion because they got so scared in 2020 and they wanted to make sure they're protected to at least survive. Now, that's a lot smarter. Many say that they're doing cash out refinances because they want to pay off their other debts like credit card debts and such, saying that getting debt on a house is a lot cheaper in the interest rate versus getting debt on credit cards and other stuff, which makes sense to a limit. Mortgages are secured loans, meaning you're actually securing it with an asset. Credit cards are unsecured loans, which means there's not really an asset or collateral attached to it. So if you default on your credit card payments, it can affect you, but not as much as affecting you if you defaulted on a mortgage. On a mortgage, you'll lose that roof over your head. On a credit card default, your credit will get affected, you'll have collections and such, but what's worse than losing the roof on top of your head? Many aren't realizing that taking cash out on their their equity paying other debts, but putting themselves underwater in the home that they live in if the market goes back the opposite way. Now, I'm not against doing a refinance if you want to actually lower your monthly mortgage payment and you want to get a cheaper rate, because I know clients who got rates a year and a half ago at 5.5%. So if you're like, I want to do a refinance and get 2.5, 2.8%, by all means do it. It makes sense. But if you're just trying to do a cash out refinance to do some renovations and to pay off other debts and get yourself in a bad position, please be careful. This market, guys, is inflated. It's artificial. It is fake, and there is so much uncertainty right now. The market is on fire because of many reasons, such as low interest rates, low supply, high demand, lumber costs being so expensive, builders on a backlog, and so much more. But I don't want you guys to think that this is going to continue to happen for years to come. There is no way something can keep going up. Eventually, it's got to retrace. Nobody knows when, but I'm giving you advice to protect you, because if it's tomorrow or in 4 years, I don't want you in a bad position. In today's market, we are truly in a housing crisis. We're having people coming from all over the country in different states, waiving appraisals, waiving inspections, waiving any possible contingencies, and overpaying. The competition is fierce, the supply is low, and everybody wants that one house that you want. What's happening is somebody's coming and buying this one house for cash, or waiving all contingencies and paying the difference in cash even if it doesn't appraise. And what that's doing is raising your market value. And when it raises your market value, the next appraiser is going to appraise your house at that price point, which is good news. Equity. But in my opinion, that's artificial equity. It is fake. It is inflated, and you need to be careful. Anyways, guys, that is why I am warning you from doing a cash out refinance. If you are not doing it with the right mentality, with the right numbers run, it is dangerous, and I don't want you guys to get in a bad position. So I hope things are a lot more clear for you, and before you do a cash out refi, you make sure you run the numbers. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and remember, I upload 3 times every single week. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you got any value, hit the like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm out.